Jack is in the game. He's picked up by Smart. Turner aggressively out on Johnson. Johnson leans in, banks it home.
Just used his muscle and size on Turner.
We know what a shooter he is. Johnson, good fake.
That played very well, especially the man with the basketball. Joe Johnson to the lane. Floating gun goes. He's put down a clinic.
Joe Johnson,
32 for
to the source.
This man has almost personally spoiled the Pistons' home opener. He is so red hot and knows it. 2 more in the bank. 15.
Play shot doctor.
Spinarcolepty.
Johnson against Ibaka, mismatch, fade away, yes.
Interesting with Joe Johnson.
Came out late, but can't give him an open look. He's too good a shooter.
Joe Johnson went to the bench with 3 fouls. The spin, the bucket. He just took young Andrew Wiggins to class.
There's the challenge that flips on is put on Wiggins.
With Wiggins. 12 to shoot. ISO Joe. Johnson to the hoop. Count it.
He waited.
On the money defensively there. A lot of traffic with the Nets.
Johnson against Ware.
Oh boy.
Over the rookie. Taking him to school.
Welcome to Joe.
In the morning, then have to come to the arena in Brooklyn at night. They're just getting to the arena a little bit earlier before the game.
Yeah, bring him in an hour earlier than they normally come and get you work done then. But they've got to concentrate and make it work.
And Johnson does, banking it home. That might be the dagger.
On a piece. Mason probably tied up by his brother Miles. Joe Johnson forces the issue.
Yeah, he loves it. He loves contact. That's the way he loves to play.
Suns haven't beaten the Nets here at home since January of 2011. Joe Johnson got 3.
He's too strong for Gerald Green, so if he's putting it down 2 times, you got to think.
After 17 games, Plumlee came out and played very well in his rookie season. Out of Duke, Johnson backs his way and scores. Joe Johnson off to a good start. He's averaging. Job by Harrison Barnes and Joe Johnson. Johnson goes right back and scores.
Tough move by Joe Johnson. Good defense by Harrison.
Joe Johnson.
Joe Johnson used to shoot this shot all the time. Now he tries to get to that rim.
Well, he's big enough, and that's where his advantage has been tonight. He takes full advantage there as Johnson now with Blake on him, now wants to go inside. Clears out his teammates. Drives the middle, scores again. The Brooklyn field goal percentage has been on the rise.
Did you give his wingspan yet?
7-foot wingspan.
Very nice.
Johnson to the rim. Joe Johnson puts the Nets in front by 10. Johnson, 7 to shoot. Nets have nothing going here on this set. Johnson works his way in. Forces. Oh, it goes! Joe Johnson.
Davies has Johnson on a switch.
Check the floor.
Joe Johnson.
Such a good touch, man. Brandon Davies did a good job.
It's Johnson against Carroll. Physical defender. 6 to shoot.
And active, too.
Cross. Fade. Oh, Joe Johnson.
A chance to already look up and see your 4 Stanley Cup banners up in the rafters. I mean, and 2, I was so impressed. 2 consecutive Stanley Cup winning goals. The only NHL player to do that. What are the memories you have when you...
Plumlee at the top. Here's Joe Johnson. Anderson with him as he turns the corner. And Johnson just flicks it at the rim and hits.
Yeah, they are a wonderful ISO team.
And Anderson, his reaction didn't really indicate that he was hit. His reaction indicated that he missed the shot.
So Nets will trade.
Davis Vasquez gets set to check into the ball game for Toronto.
Well, Mark, this is what's been puzzling about this Brooklyn team is Johnson just bogarts his way into the paint.
30-point quarter. They're moving the ball beautifully. What is it by Landry Fields? Shot clock down to 5. Johnson gonna have to go with it, which he does with ease a lot of times.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, clock's running.
Finds Johnson. Johnson with the crossover and go. And Joe Johnson starting to heat up a little bit now with 17 points.
All right, now let's see if Brooklyn next time down, just go to him. That's a couple in a row. You know, you still
Feeling his way as a rookie, spent some time in Canton. LeBron charges inside, blocked though by Plumlee. Here comes Darren Williams, and he draws that foul. Joe Johnson forced a momentary switch. Now Thompson stays on him. Johnson backs out with a tough gunslinger three. Joe Johnson was 17 in his career. Joe Johnson came to the ball against Marion now. Johnson flicks it and scores it.
He's got that little hesitation right before he shoots the ball, and when he does that, it makes you
Looked inside, Plumlee was covered up. Joe Johnson, familiar step back. Yep, Joe Johnson. He's got 23, 9
to Brook. He's one of the most talented offensive centers, but Plumlee's speed and the trouble we have with the pick and roll make me wish Brook was in instead of Plumlee starting as Johnson buries the jumper.
Especially if you get Joe Johnson isolating over there with going right up with it.
Jerebko thought about it. Now, this lineup's kind of interesting here, Jim, because I'd say right now you'd name Mirza the center with this 5.
Yeah, that's why they're going to Monroe. 7 of their 9 field goals from the paint or pretty close to the rim.
It's a lot of points. 20 points with 3:25 to play in the first. Johnson put on another exhibition from the outside. Joe Johnson.
Be careful, big fella.
Johnson against Chandler. The battle continues. Johnson the drive. Johnson the fade. Oh, he hits! Joe Johnson creating his own shot. And JG has got the game.
Johnson just 3 for 11 in the game. Takes it in the paint, 4 for 12.
That gets you on his hip and you're toast.
was winding down. There was about 6 seconds left on the clock.
Each team with 8 offensive rebounds. Johnson banging the dribble with 9 to shoot. Works his way in for the bucket.
Yeah, that's how smooth Joe Johnson is. Gay is not bad defensively.
Joe Johnson against Noah. Jab step and then the jumper in the air, and that's good.
I tell you what, again, he is a tough cover. Well, you remember that fourth quarter against Indiana where the Bulls were outscored 25-11. Indiana went on a 20-0 run.
There's Joe Johnson raising up over Nico.
Johnson gets a screen from Garnett and takes it to the basket on Bosch and scores.
Good screen by Garnett. That's one of the things he does well, has done well in his career.
Hurry. Not thinking that way. 28 seconds left. Johnson against Thomas. Strokes the jumper and hits.
Just let Joe Johnson face up the entire.
The Pistons have a 7-point lead, 2 and 14 left. Time for our U.S. Marine Corps making a difference player profile.
What a strong double-double.
So?
Because he knows I can't do any damage to him up here.
Joe Johnson just waiting to get that jumper to go, and that one does. Was an all-star for the 7th time last year in his 3rd season with the Nets. Wizards trying to get defensive with this team, but right now, Brooklyn leads it by 4.
Barnett screen set on Pierce. 6 to shoot, mismatch on Gortat. A 3 is good for Joe Johnson.
And normally you would say Joe Johnson, too much dribbling going nowhere, but that time
Nets holding a 2-game lead over Charlotte and Detroit for the final playoff spot in the East. And Johnson's stroke looks smooth early. He's 3 of 5, 7 points for Joe Johnson, Donnie.
This is a matchup right here.
With the basketball, Johnson still trying to work on Butler. Johnson will take and hit. Feathery touch.
He's just one of those guys, and you know me, I'm outspoken. If I was his teammate, I'd be like.
You can see on turnovers, Kevin, and on made baskets, still the Clippers trying to get that pace. keep the Brooklyn Nets moving.
Here's Jamal Crawford. Freshly off the bench, hits a quick free. Really staggers with.
Well, for the Clippers, you have four of the team's best three-point shooters in Redick, Paul, and Barnes shooting 39%.
Joe Johnson with a nice spinner inside.
That's 3 of the 4, so they've been shooting.
Plumlee, doubled by Redick. Joe Johnson. Shot clock at 3, and he'll take it inside. Joe Johnson with a nice move to come up with the basket right there. He's averaging 16 a game. He and Jack seeing a lot of minutes because there really isn't a good option.
Well, Kenny Garnett sets a pretty good screen out there.
Always has.
Yeah.
Johnson a jumper, got it. Joe Johnson just 2 of 6 in the first half.
Would have been nice to have that little top of the key jumper for 3 points, though.
Joe Johnson to the rim. So the Nets have chipped away. They have cut it now to 5 with 1 foot.
But then before that, he releases Williams with a good delivery.
Jimmy, here's the issue. The Raptors have 90 points. There's 3 minutes to go in the third quarter. Johnson, the flip.
Oh, I'm with you.
Comes on a double.
They keep taking the double team and getting Johnson to give it up.
Shot clock is down to 5. Joe Johnson with 3, with 2, shakes him off and hits! Joe Johnson! Clutch! 2-time Olympic gold medalist, 2008, 2012. And 1 out of 2 for Chris Paul, the no good. Lopez, the back tap. Johnson, that's a long 3. Oh! Johnson nails it. It's a 2.
Here's Joe Johnson. Clock down to 6. Jump shot. And it rattles around and through. 46-40. Cut off by Patterson. Johnson over Patterson, bucket, and he's got 9.
And the net defense has been great here in the third. They are keeping their...
Joe Johnson, 5 on the timer.
Double team, it's going up. He creates some space and hits a deuce. Well, Jimmy gets a push off. He gets away with it. Pushes the first down while you're getting yours up. You can get yours up because you'll force them to miss and hopefully turn it over. Well, on this end, you better have your hands up. That's Joe Johnson. He has 9 points.
We'll take another look. Duke speaks the truth. The FedEx Forum, Monday, July 13th. Tickets go on sale to the general public on Tuesday, February 7th.
Division. Nuggets 0-7 against the Atlantic this season. They were 5-5 a year ago. Now Joe Johnson sizing up Nurkic and rolls it home. Joe Johnson, who averages 15.5.
Calls me, I come here. It's like a fun thing for me. I work with the kids with Bill, and it's important. It's fun.
The floater goes in with 1.1 remaining.
So Omer Asher picking up his 3rd foul. It's the guy you got to worry about getting hot. Joe Johnson again. And that's a mismatch. He's got the size on a switch with Eric Gordon. Welcome back once again to New Orleans. Joel Myers, David Wesley, Jen Hale. We're halfway through the third, and a sloppy start for both teams. Joe Johnson gets there again.
Give me 45 dribbles. Some defense and get out of transition.
The Nets are 13-17 on the road. Actually, that's not bad. Just 4 under 500 is Joe Johnson. They have the shooters when they're a little off.
Third quarter. Anderson on a kick. Johnson extra feet. Johnson working against Gilchrist. Gets the deuce. Joe Johnson, his first points of the night. 1-1.
And Knight was on that Final Four team in 2010-2011. Shot clock at 3. Johnson into the paint. Gets it to drop. 4.5 on the clock. Nets have missed their last 8 shots. They've gone 6 minutes without a field goal. Had just 1 point during that span. It was 91-76 at one point. Brooklyn, and there Joe Johnson ends the drought.
Johnson shoved Grant out of the way and was able to get 2.
Jumper is good.
Quick attack from Milwaukee. They felt they had numbers, so they never slowed it up. They just went right at the transition defense of Brooklyn.
Bucks back up 2, 105, 105.
Arm out of his way.
Now Johnson turns the corner. Hill right there. And Joe Johnson, his second field goal. So many places that...
Oh, boy, I tell you what, this is terrific for Mahimi to go out here and guard Joe. Oh, he just made a heck of a shot. But he was defended well, both by Solomon Hill and then Mahimi. Joe, any time.
Johnson, count it, foul, 7-point lead.
He had the change of pace.
9 for the Nets, a well-played game. Both teams shooting well. The Nets at 60%. Pacers have never been able to solve them tonight.
That's what he does. That's Joe Johnson.
Under 7 minutes to play now in the fourth. The Nets are down 15. Johnson to the hoop. Just the second field goal of the night for Joe Johnson. He's been limited to 4. And against Scott, Plumlee sets the screen. Johnson circles. Shot clock is down to 10. Johnson searching for his offense. There it is.
I got to give credit to Markel Brown, though.
Williams shielding off Teague, the spin. Johnson matched up with Carroll, makes his move. Johnson to the hoop, count it.
You have guys who can put the ball on the floor from the... Well, the ultimate fan section counting falsely for the Nets. They're able to score anyway. They had the shot clock.
Yeah, Vucevic was just going to the baseline side. He just kind of disappeared on the pass.
Johnson one-on-one with Gordon. Johnson the curl and the bucket.
This is definitely a team you can attack.
Shakes off the defender. Kick out. Johnson thought twice about it. Had an open 3. Drives in on Harkless and scores with the offhand. So that leaves an 11-second difference. Shot clock the game.
Joe Johnson, pretty good matchup here. Should be able to get a shot off.
4 to shoot. Johnson squares. Got it! Bang! Joe Johnson!
This is Williams, played by Teague. Joe Johnson figures to see quite a bit of double teaming. This time in a one-on-one, he goes glass.
You know, you can't tell it by Joe's demeanor, but talking to Pez
Over the last 16 games, averaging just under 24 points per game, averaging 9 rebounds, and having himself an outstanding first half.
if I'm a Nets fan,
It's a complete franchise renaissance for this team. You see some of their handiwork, not only the 19 straight wins, they won 12 straight road games at one point as Joe Johnson continues his... This is Joe Johnson again here in the booze here. Long 3, sticks it. Make it 11 straight points for the Nets.
Isn't that what he's going over here to give his team a chance?
Shot clock already down to 6. Johnson against Harper. Fires and puts it down. Long 2 from Johnson. He's got 10. As this dramatic ending continues. 8-point game. Johnson. Brooklyn just will not go quietly, will they?
Williams to be able to advance, or not advance, but push Chicago.